The human models can be used for organ bonus, as you can see here labeled with the tape. So I thought I would go over a couple of them. Obviously on the front, we'd have the lungs with the heart situated intermediate to those. The liver here, stomach, intestines. On the larger model, you can see it a little better. The heart here would be intermediate to those two lungs. On the bonus, we don't really ask the pleura, but they would be there as well, the parietal pleura, visceral pleura, and the parietal pericardium and visceral pericardium. But on the models, we'll just ask lung and heart. Downward, you can see the intestines here, the larger intestine, the colon, ascending, transverse, descending, and then the main portion of the small intestine, the jejunum here in front. Behind, you'll see the kidneys and the spleen. The spleen is situated up sort of in the lungs. Make sure you don't get that confused with the kidney, even though it is the same color here. Off the spleen, you can see the J-shaped or number 7 shaped lobed organ, the pancreas. I always tell students it looks like bubblegum almost, and we know here attached to the small intestine is where we'd find the pancreas because it has to dump all of those enzymatic juices and things like that directly here into the duodenum, the first part of the small intestine. We can't forget the parotid salivary gland here, the cartilaginous larynx, the trachea that runs down to the lungs, the thyroid across. We can't really see the esophagus on these models, but know that it would be situated behind the trachea. Moving down here, students often confuse this with the bladder. It's the uterus. We don't see the bladder from this aspect. If we took the uterus out, you can see that even though it's much smaller, the bladder situates below that, or is positioned below that. So uterus, bladder. So on the model in this aspect, we can't really see the uterus. I'm sorry, the bladder. Now on the male model, we don't ask penis on this test, but the testis could be a portion, the epididymis, and the spermatic cord. Recall that the cord is the whole structure, just like you'd have a phone cord, and if that were cut open, you see the individual wires. If we were to cut this open, we would see the vas deferens. On the stomach itself, we could ask the greater curvature, lesser curvature. These plastic models don't often have the omentums off of that, but that's where you would find them. On the intestine model, most of them, if we take off the cecum, that part of the large intestine, you can see where the small intestine and the large intestine meet, and so this would be the ileocecal valve. On the liver here, flip that over, you'd find the gallbladder, and even though we don't ask it, these chest plates could also have the mammary gland.